So, welcome to Sunday evening guided meditation at Cittaviveka Buddhist Monastery. I will begin by lighting the candles, and then we will chant we'll begin with the first part of the evening chanting in English, which is on page 19 of the dark brown chanting book, and we will continue through the preliminary homage and then begin meditation. To the Blessed One, the Lord who fully attained perfect enlightenment, to the teaching which he expounded so well, and to the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, to these the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, we render with offerings our rightful homage. It is well for us that the Blessed One, having attained liberation, still had compassion for later generations. May these simple offerings be accepted for our long-lasting benefit and for the happiness it gives us. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and Blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples, who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha. Now let us pay preliminary homage to the Buddha, homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One, homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One, homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. So, at the beginning of a meditation session, we begin by finding a posture that we can hopefully maintain without too much movement for, say, the next 50 minutes or so. And then, gently closing the eyes and bringing attention to the experience of the body. Just being aware, what does it feel like to sit here right now? So we can feel the groundedness of the buttocks on the chair or cushion, and the soles of the feet on the ground if we're sitting in a chair. And we can let that ground form an anchor for the mind. Bringing attention downwards can help reduce the compelling nature of proliferating thought. And then from that ground, we can be aware of the experience of the spine rising up. We can check to see whether we're leaning too far forwards or too far back. Allowing the spine to lengthen to its full upright nature. We can imagine the crown of the head being gently lifted by a fine string. And the rest of the body relaxing around the firm central axis of the spine. When we are aware of the body, one of the most prominent sensations can be that of in and out breathing. And we can deliberately turn our attention there. How do we know that we're breathing in? How do we know that we're breathing out? There, we can experience the physical sensations of the breath at the tip of the nose, in the area of the throat. We can experience the shoulders rising and then settling, the chest expanding and sinking. The belly stretching and relaxing. This is the physical experience of breathing. So we can choose whichever area of this process feels most settled and comfortable. And let's spend 5 minutes paying attention there. And we'll try to develop attention that is both relaxed, or both precise yet relaxed, not tensing up, and at the same time not losing focus. Let's investigate this for 5 minutes. So if the mind has wandered, gently bring it back to the experience of breathing in and out. So far, we've been investigating the physical experience of breathing in and out. But there's another aspect to breathing, you could call it the energetic experience of the breath. Breathing in is uplifting, brightening, enlivening. And breathing out is settling, soothing, and calming. And while we can feel the physical breath usually only in the places that we imagine as moving or through which the breath flows, the energetic experience of breathing in and out, we can learn to experience that, to perceive it throughout the entire body. So we can investigate in my feet, what feels different when I'm breathing in and breathing out. The feet don't move very much, but at least for me, the experience of the feet is distinctly different. And this experience of the energy of breathing it might be I think it's certainly related to concepts like prana and chi from various traditions. This, as if one maintains continual mindfulness here, this is the place where body and mind meet, and it's quite a beneficial exercise for both body and mind. Another opportunity here is to recognize whether the mind and body, what they're like right now. And for instance, if the mind and body are sluggish, it can be helpful to pay more attention to the enlivening quality of the in-breath. If mind or body are agitated, it can be helpful to emphasize the soothing quality of the out-breath. And so for the next 10 minutes, we can investigate both the physical sensation of breathing and the energetic experience of it, wherever these manifest in the body, wherever they feel comfortable. So if the mind has wandered, gently bring it back to the experience of in and out breathing. So far we've been investigating two components: the physical experience of breathing in and out, at whichever point feels most comfortable, and the energetic experience of brightening with the in-breath and settling with the out-breath. And you can continue with this for a whole meditation period. And if you can stay with it, it's very helpful. But there's a third aspect of breathing that's even more subtle than the energetic experience. And that is the quality of knowing that those of you who were here for Ajahn Mirindo's Dhamma talk last night, what he was speaking about. And one of the ways of coming into contact with or recognizing this form of knowing is to, once the energetic experience of breathing is established, energizing on the in-breath, soothing on the out-breath, is to bring attention more to the pause when the in-breath stops and the out-breath has yet to begin, and when the breath has finished its cycle, it's flowed all the way out, but we aren't breathing in yet either. Those pause points have an energetic experience as well. It's balanced. It's neither balanced between energizing and settling. And yet, if we pay attention, it's definitely an experience. And we can be aware that the energy associated with the in-breath and the out-breath feels like it's moving in the body, rising on the in-breath, sinking on the out-breath. But the energetic experience of the breath at its stationary points doesn't move. And again, if you're already finding it difficult just to stay with the energetic quality of the breath, just keep doing that. But if you're interested in exploring this more settled and stationary energy, recognize it at the in-breath, at the end of the in-breath, and at the end of the out-breath. And then investigate. Does that quality, when we breathe in, does the stationary breath energy actually, does it go away? Or is it still present, even with the flowing the energizing in-breath. And at the end of the in-breath, be aware of the stationary experience, that settled, more settled energy. And then with the out-breath, does that settled energy, does the soothing quality of the out-breath, does that disrupt that stationary quality of the breath? Can you stay with it through the whole cycle? What would that be like? And one can recognize that just as there's an energetic component of that, we can stay with that energy if we're mindful. Then not far away is the quality of knowing. Because the breath, the experience of the breath changes as we breathe in and out. But the knowing doesn't. This can give us a handle on how to recognize the quality of knowing in the mind as opposed to its object. The mind that knows, knowing the breath, isn't breathing. So this is a lot to investigate, and I would encourage you to investigate whatever seems most useful right now. Trust yourself on that. And so we can do this for another 10 minutes. if the mind has wandered, bring it back to the experience of in and out breathing. Also just check the posture. Is it both upright and relaxed? Yeah. The mind mirrors the body. So what posture of the body will facilitate the relaxed, precise attention that we seek to cultivate? And if we have been able to be aware of this knowing of the breathing, one can expand that quality of knowing to know the entire field of the body and mind. So there is this experience of body and mind now, and there's the knowing of it. And again, in this relaxed, precise way, is it possible to recognize the difference between the two? The objects change. The knowing is much more stable. And even though the experience is diverse, hearing my voice is different from the sensation of sitting on the cushion. But that quality of knowing is the same for both. There are a number of possible results from meditation practice. When the mind is settled, we can feel a sense of happiness, energy, well-being in body and mind. Or there can also be, especially with that quality of knowing, a sense of equanimity, serenity, different from, it's not nearly as excited as happiness, but there it is. And when we experience either of these, it can be helpful to consciously allow that experience to pervade the entire body. Soaking it in is the metaphor that the Buddha uses, or pervading. Because it's one thing to remember the idea of a peaceful meditation, but it's another thing for the body to know the felt experience of that. the memory of the body has a much greater effect on our emotions and our habitual reactions than the memory of the mind. And so towards the end of a meditation session, it can be very skillful to make some good memories with the body. What does this feel like in the body? This sense of peace or happiness or clarity. Soak it in, because it'll come back if we do that. The body knows. So we can practice like this for another 4 minutes or so. we can end the evening with the verses of sharing and aspiration in English, which is on page 33. Now let us chant the verses of sharing and aspiration. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all cravings and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge. Unsurpassed is the protection of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. And we will chant the closing homage, which it should be on page, let's see, not listed here. Closing homage. Is on page 29. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed One, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teaching, so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples, who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha.